All right, let's go ahead and talk through these 6 examples here. Okay, in the first one, you have the sum and difference of terms. So when you multiply or expand these out, you simply take the first term and square it minus the second term squared. So we take the first term, 3x, and square both parts of it. So 3 squared is 9, x squared, always a minus, square the 5, 25. So again, that's all you have to do to expand that example. Moving to B. Again, we have the sum and difference of terms. It happens to have a radical, but that doesn't change anything. It still fits the same pattern. Sum and difference of terms expands into the difference of squares. So we square the root x. Root x squared is just x, always a minus. We square the second term d. So x minus d squared would be your expanded form for that. Okay, C, slightly different pattern. This is a binomial square. You have the difference of terms. So again, the pattern remains the same regardless of whether it's a sum or difference. You take the first term and square it. So square the 3, square the x. Then you take the product of the terms and double it. So 3x times a negative 5, again, remember the sign carries with it, is a negative 15x. Double that, you get negative 30x. And then you square your last term, negative 5 squared, any value squared is going to be positive 25. So those would be your answers across the top. Okay. Along the bottom, we have a binomial cube. So here, when we expand this out, this one, I would suggest you write down the steps instead of trying to do it all mentally. First step, write down the pattern of coefficients. 1, 3, 3. One. And then just write your term. So our first term is 3x. So from left to right, we're going to cube it, square it to the first, and then nothing. And then take our second term, which is negative 5. Again, carry the sign with it. And from left or from right to left, we're going to cube it, square it to the first, and then nothing. Put plus symbols in between each of the sets. And then just look to continue to expand and simplify. So we're cubing the 3, which is 27, cubing the x. Here we're squaring the 3x, so 3x quantity squared is 9x squared. And so if you multiply this through, again, you can do it a couple different ways. It doesn't matter the order that you do these. If we took 9 times a negative 5 is negative 45. Negative 45 times a 3. 3 times a negative 40, again, if you just go place values. 3 times a negative 40 is negative 120. 3 times 5 is 15. 120 plus 15 is 135. So you get negative 135 x squared. Here you can square your negative 5, which gives you 25, a positive. And once again, you can do it either way. Probably easiest to combine the 3 and 25 to get 75, and then multiply by 3 again. So 3 times 70 is 210. 3 times 5 is 15. 210 plus 15 is 225. So you get 225x. And then finally our last term, negative 5 cubed, is negative 125. Okay, so you can expand that out, again, without having to use a calculator. Okay, E is a binomial square again, so we go back to our pattern of the 1, 2, 1. Okay, we take the first term and square it, x squared. We take the product of the terms and double it, so x times 4 is 4x. Double that, you get 8x. And then we take the last term and square it. 4 squared is 16. And then our final example is another binomial cube. So I'd start the same way. 1, 3, 3, 1. Write the coefficient pattern. And then work from term to term. From left to right, we take the first term x, we cube it, square it to the first. From right to left, we take the second term, which is a positive 4. We cube it, square it to the first. Put a plus symbol in between each of these, and then combine what we have. So we get an x cubed. Here, 4 times 3 gives us 12x squared. 4 squared is 16. 16 times 3, again, if you think of the place values, 3 times 10 is 30. 3 times 6 is 18. 30 plus 18 is 48x. And then we cube our 4. 4 cubed is 64 to get our overall expanded form.